Well, a very pleasant good evening. Time for Startup Talk from Indian River State College with Mr. Tom Kindred.
Thank you, sir, and welcome to another segment and installment of Startup Talk, the show designed to assist and help Treasure and Research Coast residents who want to start, grow, or accelerate their business. And as I always say, what a great place it is to own and operate a business along the beautiful Research and Treasure Coast. We will spend time during our hour together this evening to highlight and create awareness regarding the very powerful and robust business assistance and support programs which exist right here in our community at our very own Indian River State College. I am Tom Kindred, and I serve the community as the Regional Director for the Florida Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College. Our show, as always, this evening is underwritten by the Florida SBDC at IRSC and our friends at Express Printing of Port St. Lucie. So, Greg, how are you this evening? Everything all right in the radio world?
Doing well. Yep, we are doing very well and looking ahead to basketball. Okay. Although volleyball has got a volleyball camp this summer. So
listen,
to them.
There are students all over main campus right now at Indian River State College. It is a big time. It's great to see. It's a lot of fun. The KSU is full of students and all kinds of great stuff going on for the summer at IRSC. All kinds of summer camps, sports summer camps, got technology summer camps down in the Brown Center. The laser tech folks, Natalia and Dr. Chris and his group. They've got an Adreno computer coding camp, and Dr. Kevin Cooper has got multiple camps going in advanced technology. So there's just all kinds of stuff going on this summer at Indian River State College.
By a message to all the other state colleges who play IRSC in basketball.
Yeah.
We may not be able to schedule you guys in Florida, but we have two NCAA Division II teams that we will be scrimmaging, Barry University and Palm Beach Atlantic.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When does all that take place?
That's going to be in October. Actually, one of the events is early October, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going to be, and season starts in November 1.
When does the season start? How soon?
November 1.
November. I can't wait. I'm telling you, I love basketball. It's great to come out and see the Pioneers play. It's a great facility and a lot of fun. So looking forward to all that getting underway again.
And one of the new Pioneers, I think, is an Olympic. I'm not sure what country she is from. Olympic, what is it, 19 and under Olympic star from her respective country. So I was reading that on the website the other day. So, yeah.
As everyone knows who is a regular listener to Startup Talk here on WPSL and WSTU, the show is dedicated to entrepreneurship, small business. We talk an awful lot about issues that affect and drive the small business community and marketplace. We talk an awful lot about the resources. I always like to highlight, of course, the Florida SBDC at IRSC, the Small Business Development Center, and all the resources and programs that it has to assist small business. So tonight, our show, as always, is dedicated to that small business assistance. And I want to bring and introduce two folks to you this evening that are doing the same thing. They are helping small business within our community. They are providing programs that assist small business. I'm excited to have these two people. They've been doing a lot of great work. Impressed with what's going on with both of them. So I want to introduce first Mrs. Dawn Hutson of the United States Postal Service. She is the Postmaster for the city of Fort Pierce. Welcome to the show, Dawn.
Thank you, Tom.
And just, an incredible program that the United States Postal Service puts on, and I can't wait to talk about it. Dawn's done some workshops and seminars with the Florida SBDC on multiple campuses. It just so happens, of course, I knew about these seminars and sort of understood what was going on, but I actually attended one the other evening, and what an eye-opener it was with what the USPS is doing for small business. So, Don, I can't wait to talk about what you're doing. Our other guest this evening, young man who is doing some great things down at the city of Port St. Lucie. I probably not a week go by that I don't get some sort of correspondence or a reminder to get something done because I get lost sometimes in all of it. But this young man keeps me on track, and we've done some great things with the city of Port St. Lucie I'd like to welcome Mr. Elijah Wooten, the Business Navigator for the City of Port St. Lucie. Welcome to the show, Elijah.
Thanks, Tom.
Elijah's a great young man, and again, we've done some workshops and seminars, worked with his division and his department in collaborating on some things with the City of Port St. Lucie, all kinds of things going on at the City of Port St. Lucie. But Elijah is kind of the point person that's driving the city's engagement with the small business community. So Elijah, again, look forward to hearing all of what's going on at the City of Port St. Lucie and what the Business Navigator is doing for the business community. So thanks for joining us this evening.
Sure, you're welcome.
Before we get started real quick, I want to talk about a very unique and exciting program. I had the opportunity today to sit in a meeting with the leadership team from the St. Lucie County EDC. Pete Tesh, Candy, Jackie were in the meeting today, and I know Jill has played a big part in this program. We were in the room with some Career Source Research Coast folks, Brian and Marcelo and their leadership team were in the meeting, along with those of us from Indian River State College and the SBDC and CCTI. But there is recently the EDC put together what they called a boot camp. This boot camp took place a couple of weeks ago. They engaged I think it was about 20 high school graduates that were in this boot camp, and the boot camp was designed to put these students through a week-long intense training program, introductory type training program that allowed the students to get an understanding of the advanced manufacturing industry and what's available in terms of careers here along the Treasure Coast. And let me tell you, there are careers and there are great opportunities. We've had this conversation many times before, but it really was a very successful program. Throughout the week, the 20 students, every day they worked inside of and toured a different manufacturing facility across the Treasure Coast. At the end of the week, they got to meet individually with owners, operators, managers, leadership team members from manufacturing facilities across the marketplace, and a good number of these students were immediately hired and employed through this boot camp program.
No, they never stopped here. We manufacture air.
That's right. I don't know, Greg. These are pretty strong hourly wages out there. I don't know.
Oh, well, then that lets us out.
Right. But an incredible program. And again, I can't say enough about Jill and Candy and Jackie and Pete at the EDC for putting this program together. Just an impressive program. We played a role in the program. The IRSC was a sponsor of the program. It was held on the Pruitt campus. But an incredible program to really begin to engage students at the very beginning of their careers and introduce a career in advanced manufacturing. Now, this was all part of a program that is now being kicked off through Indian River State College and the Treasure Coast Manufacturers Association. It is a manufacturing apprenticeship program. Again, just an incredibly powerful program for folks that want to get into the manufacturing business. Earn while you learn. Fast-track comprehensive program gives the students the tools needed to succeed in a high-paying career in advanced manufacturing. It's an 18-month or 3,000-hour apprenticeship, and the program trains those to set up, operate, monitor, and control production equipment, helps improve manufacturing processes and schedules to meet customer requirements, helps the student understand manufacturing as a business system that integrates multiple disciplines, and it helps the student efficiently and safely manage raw materials and consumables. And again, for the student, what's in it for them? It's a high-wage, high-skill career. There's an earn while you learn educational experience. The tuition, there's scholarships out there for the tuition through the TCMA, Treasure Coast Manufacturing Association. There's some wage increases that come along for the employee as they progress through the apprenticeship program. You earn a nationally recognized certificate, the Certified Production Technician, CPT as we call it, and the Industrial Manufacturing Technician, IMT. So it's just an incredible program. For more information, I encourage anyone who is interested. Now, this is a limited program. There's only so many seats in this apprenticeship program, and there's not too many left for this round. I'd like anyone that's interested in this program to please quickly contact Nadege Paris at 866-482-4473. She is with Career Source Research Coast. Again, that is Nadege, Nadege. Contact her at 866-482-4473. Her extension is 508, or you can get her email at N as in Nadege, her last name, Pierre, at careersourcerc.com. Just an incredible opportunity.
That's for high school grads, right?
Well, I'm not gonna profess to be the expert on the requirements necessary to enter the program, but it's not just for high school grads. If you are an individual transferring and transitioning out of another career, let's say the service industry, restaurant industry, and you want to get into advanced manufacturing, this is an apprentice program, and it is specifically designed for that type of person, transitioning them into advanced manufacturing.
You know, it'd be kind of cool is if you designed something like that, like a dual enrollment, and get a high school kid as a junior and get them into something like this. And then,
well, there was talk about
well.
really kind of reaching out and reaching down a little deeper into the, like you say, the junior year, and maybe doing some internships kind of with manufacturers. So there obviously there's a lot of manufacturing opportunities going on around the Treasure Coast. Obviously, these folks are looking for skilled employees and skilled team members. So again, the college, Career Source, and the EDC have all stepped up together and put together what is an incredible program under the umbrella of the Treasure Coast Manufacturing Association.
And what was that number you guys came up with on your show a few weeks ago on the number of manufacturers?
Now you're going to ask me a trick question.
No, I don't want to be a trick question, but it was a lot more than I would have thought.
You talking about in terms of actual manufacturers around the area?
Yeah.
I think Pete Tesh has been on the show a number of times. I think we're in the neighborhood of 100 plus.
I think, it was over 100.
Yeah, it was over 100 manufacturers in the area. I mean, think of all the great companies that we have in our marketplace: Pursuit, Maverick Boat Works, Precision, Paradigm. It just goes on and on. Triumph, and they're really, you don't think about them because you don't see them every day. Piper, again, we all know Piper up in Vero, but those are all examples of great, leading manufacturers within our marketplace, and there's all kinds of, of those kind of businesses out there. And again, they need people. So, again, incredible program, powerful program. I just can't say enough about this apprenticeship program. It is a way for a student, male, female, to get involved in the advanced manufacturing and really get a great career. So I encourage you to reach out any way you can. If you don't have the number, call Greg at WPSL. And
we'll get our hands on that phone number. Yeah, great.
So anyway, got that going on. But again, it's all about business assistance, and that's helping folks find the right employees. But right now, I want to turn back to our guests this evening because I'm telling you, these are incredible programs that are going on within our community. And again, we'll start with Dawn. Dawn, again, welcome to the show. Dawn Hutson, Postmaster for the City of Fort Pierce.
Thank you.
Dawn, again, just kind of start with me, just a little pathway, your pathway into that Postmaster position. How does one find themselves the Postmaster of the City of Fort Pierce?
Well, actually, I started my career almost a little over 19 years ago now. I actually began as a...
She was 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 5.
Oh, 5. Okay. Yeah.
I was a clerk in West Palm Beach, hired in 1999 as what they called a part-time flexible. That back in the day, that was how everybody hired into the post office. And I'm one of the odd ones. I actually only did a year working in that job before I decided that I wanted to get into management, and I applied and was accepted into what they called the Associate Supervisor program at the time, and I've been in management for 18 years.
Wow.
I got my first postmaster job when I worked in Tennessee in 2009 and decided to come back to Florida in 2012 and became postmaster in Jensen Beach. From there, I went on and worked as Postmaster and Steward for a few years, which is how I originally met you.
Right.
And last year, I got the Postmaster job here in Fort Pierce.
Well, great. Well, we're glad to have you up here in Fort
You
Pierce.
bet. Yeah.
Talk about today's United States Postal Service, USPS. I kind of told you as we talked before. I wanted to kind of say, this isn't your father's or your grandfather's post office anymore. I mean, there's a lot of things going on. Sometimes you guys take a little bit of a bad rap, but I mean, you guys have really been innovative, a lot of advancements going on and things you're updating. You've got competition out there which is driving that innovation. Talk a little bit about today's USPS.
Today's post office is definitely not what it used to be. The ones that most people consider our competitors, while yes, on one side they are our competitors, but we also depend on them as well. Many people may not realize that FedEx and UPS, for example, we deliver, I believe it's hundreds of millions of packages for them from their retail ground network.
Right.
Because we are basically the only company and the only company in this country that can actually reach every address, whether it be city, rural. We go everywhere every day, and they have found that it's actually more profitable for them, to kind of centralize their delivery to more metropolitan areas and kind of hand off, the more residential delivery of their packages to us. On the flip side of that, we also depend on them in the aspect that, we don't have our own air network, where they have those extensive air networks and they can, in turn fly our packages all over the country. So, while we compete, we also need each other.
Right. So a little collaboration going on between all of it.
Yes, definitely.
Now, the reason I wanted to have you on this evening is you guys really do something unique and innovative, and we've done them for years, and I don't know why this is the first time I've had you on the radio show. That's my fault. My bad, because you really do some interesting things. But you guys do what's called, every door direct mail, and this program is ideal for restaurants, doctors' offices, hair salons, or any kind of local business that's not currently using the mail. It's kind of like going door to door, the easy way. It's an opportunity for these businesses to saturate a targeted area with a marketing message by using your routes and your carriers instead of kind of that mailing list. It saves on the mail preparation time. It is delivered by local postal carrier, and I think there's no permits or special fees are required for this. And you do a series of seminars to talk about this and kind of teach people how to grow their business through the USPS. Kind of talk about this program. I mean, I was so impressed when I actually attended one of these seminars. So talk a little bit about this program that you're targeting small business operators with.
Every door direct mail, there's actually two avenues that you can pursue with it. For a larger business, there's just the regular every door direct mail. That one still requires a permit. However, we do have for the smaller businesses, the more local businesses, it's a modified version. It's every door direct mail retail. It allows them, an avenue to saturate particular areas using our carrier routes that are pre-established. Basically, you don't need to have names, you don't need to have addresses, means you don't have to purchase mailing lists, you don't have to maintain mailing lists. You essentially just have a piece delivered to every postal customer that has an active delivery point on our carrier routes.
Wow. Now, so where is the cost? They're still paying. They've got to pay some sort of fee per piece. Is that how it works? Or
yes. We don't do anything with the printing aspect of it. That you would go to a printer and have that handled. But once you have that, and of course, we're happy to assist anybody in designing them. Making sure that they meet the minimum requirements that we have for it. But basically, they just prepare it, like I said, to local customer. They bring it to whatever zip post office of the zip code that they're targeting. They're allowed to mail up to 5,000 pieces per day per zip code. So if you're targeting a specific area that, like my office, for example, on Midway Road, I've got 4 different zip codes that you could potentially
Wow.
target in one day. That's 20,000 pieces that you can send out.
So this is kind of a new version of what back in my day when we were kind of talking when I said I was being innovative years ago. This is kind of an updated version of the bulk mail
Yeah.
concept.
Yes.
But you no longer need that bulk mail permit.
Don't have to pay for the permit. Don't have to maintain the permit fees every year. Again, you don't have addresses. You don't have names. Your address, it basically just says local postal customer.
Okay.
There's a specific indicia that you have to put on it. That, I mean, we make it very easy. It's on USPS.com. You can do everything through there.
Okay.
You know, it's
So how do the direct mail companies deal with this?
I think they enjoy it. I mean, they still. I mean, it's
There's still
direct
room
mail
for them.
There's still room for
Well,
them.
see, I'm trying to bring all those customers to radio. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. So again, they. But now part of what you talk about in your seminar, you had this incredible book that you had at the seminar with ideas of how to design, these pieces. Talk a little bit about
that one was for the Irresistible Male. Yes.
Right.
Apparently, our company actually won an award for that book. It's just got sample pieces of it, of the
Right.
different things that you can do with mail nowadays. I mean, the technology that we have nowadays, even in the printing, to draw the attention of the customer is amazing. There's pieces in there that are scratch and sniff. A lot of them have textures to them. Anything. People still, filter through their mail
Right.
when they pull it out of the box. A lot of people think mail's not relevant anymore. That's not true at all.
Right.
They say
agreed.
something like 85% of every person in this country pulls their mail out of the box and will at least scan through the mail.
Sure.
So you've got a few seconds to grab their attention, and whatever you can do to do that helps. And that book has samples.
So that's what you do in the seminar. You're kind of taking them through this whole process of let's look at what you're designing, what works better, how can they saturate a marketplace. I'm assuming during a political year, this could even be pretty big for those running for office. I mean, is this a great way to saturate?
It is actually. I had a candidate come to me just last week from somebody that I spoke to at the small business conference.
Yeah, and I'm still looking for my commission check for that. That's right.
Yeah, it is great if you're doing, if you're a local candidate
Right.
for a political platform. It allows you a channel to, canvas the area and not have to have the specific names and addresses.
Well, again, what a great opportunity for like the local restaurant, the mom and pop restaurant that could draw from that 5 mile radius. What we talk an awful lot about in market research is we do what we call the ring, research, where we draw those rings out 3 miles, 5 miles. So basically, this is really allowing that customer to go saturate that 5 mile ring around the business.
Yeah, the program, you can put in either a zip code or an address. If you do a specific address, you can see every carrier route that's within a 5 mile radius of that specific address. And then you can also, you can look at some of the demographic information that relates to each of the routes. It'll tell you average median income. It will tell you average age and average household size. That all come from the census statistics that they did, I think, in 2010. But, you can drill into that as well to kind of target specific routes that you're looking for.
And talk about, I've seen an awful lot of ads, on television through the years about the USPS. I mean, you guys have kind of gotten, very engaged in the delivery business of packages. I mean, you're very price competitive with packages. Talk about that kind of aspect of the business.
Yeah, that packages for us are considered competitive market pricing. We have market dominant products, which is like our first class mail that we are exclusive to, obviously, just because we are the Postal Service. But our competitive prices, we do compete, pretty well, I say, with FedEx and UPS and the other shipping companies out there. Of course, we don't have the latitude to, manipulate our prices depending on whatever circumstances may be going on, be it, maybe the fuel's gone up significantly or something to that degree. We still have our postal rate commission and all that have to approve any price changes for us. But, we stay very competitive, especially in the smaller package market.
Okay. And you guys you'll do pickup right? I mean, you'll pick packages up.
Yes,
Okay.
we'll do free pickups.
Okay.
You know, you can arrange it in different ways. If you're, you know, a smaller business, or maybe you just mailing something back. Say you're a customer, you bought something from an online retailer, they'll give you a return label. You can go online and do a free carrier pickup, and when the carrier comes to your address, to deliver your mail, they'll pick it up and bring it back to the office. If you're a larger company that maybe is doing like mailings as part of an online business or whatever, you can make arrangements with your local office for pre-pickup. If you qualify based on the number of packages that you're doing, you know, we'll try to organize a time to accommodate, you know, that can accommodate both our needs, obviously. But yeah, we do a lot to work with customers.
So every door direct mail. How does one? Now, I guess I want to mention that we've got 2 seminars coming up.
We do.
You are partnering with the Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College to host free. There's no cost to come to the seminars. Workshops on the ways direct mail can energize your business and generate new customers. We've got a seminar on Wednesday, July the 25th at the main campus here on Virginia Avenue in Fort Pierce, down in the Brown Center, the Y building. That's Wednesday, July 25th. And then on Wednesday, August the 22nd, we've got a seminar down at our Pruitt campus, the Enterprise Hub. Both of those seminars are in the evening, 5:30 to 7:30, and that's when you'll take them through all of these kind of in detail, how they can get engaged, how they can use this new program.
Yeah, I walk through, you know, what the program is, give them some details on how to go online and actually use the program that we have on USPS.com, and then how to prepare their mailing before they bring it to the post office.
So if somebody is so excited that they don't want to wait till July the 25th, how would they get in touch with you, and how would they maybe start the process of looking at this every door direct mail?
They can go to USPS.com. There's, you know, if you just type in every door direct mail, or if you look under business, it'll actually have a link directly on there that'll take you to it. It doesn't require you to register. It's free. You can go on, you can play with it, plug in your address, you know, play around with it a little bit. Of course, you can always find me at the Midway Post Office. Pretty much any of my employees, if you see them out on the street, know about the program, can speak to you a little bit about it. Usually most people come to see me, though. Okay.
Dawn, a great program, innovative program, and I really appreciate you taking time out this evening to come talk about it. I should have come to your seminar a long time ago and had you on the show a long time ago. It really is a great service. So looking forward to putting some people in the room for your seminars and learning about this very useful program.
Good stuff.
So,
yeah.
We want to take a quick break.
No, it's all
nope,
right. Let's
no, we can keep going.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to keep moving then. Our next guest, of course, I want to again welcome Elijah Wooten to our show this evening. Elijah, welcome again to the show.
Thanks, Tom.
So in terms of business assistance, as we've talked about the USPS out there helping small business, I mean, you have come on board at the City of Port St. Lucie, and your entire focus is helping business, is it not, Elijah?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So start us, as did Dawn, start us with a little background on you, pathway to the Business Navigator position that you currently hold at the City of Port St. Lucie.
Sure. Well, I'm a native Floridian, so I was born and raised in
Another one.
Yeah.
Another native.
That's right. There's 3 of us now.
There we go.
All right.
So, yeah, I was born and raised in Pompano Beach, went away to college in Virginia, Hampton University. And when I came back home.
Great school.
Yeah.
Great school.
Really enjoyed it there.
Yeah.
And so I stayed there and got 2 degrees, so a bachelor's and an MBA, and came back home looking for opportunities. And interestingly enough, I was looking to get into, I think at that time, Bank of America had a management program, but the training program was every 2 years, and I was in between. And just ended up networking, talking to folks, which led me to the Greater Fort Lauderdale Chamber of Commerce, where I had a chance to learn about an opportunity working for the Minority Business Development Center, which was under the U.S. Department of Commerce. So I started my career as a marketing consultant, initially out of Miami, but then and working in Fort Lauderdale. So I assisted, entrepreneurs who were looking to either set up a business or get financing or try to understand government purchasing, and that kind of opened my eyes to the field of economic development. But I've worked at different organizations. The equivalent to the St. Lucie EDC in Broward is the Greater Fort Lauderdale Alliance. So I was in charge of business retention and attraction. So I would work with companies that were looking to either relocate to Broward County or expand within Broward County. And that kind of helped me see both sides. So at the NBDC, I was working more with small businesses and understanding their needs. And then at the Economic Development Group, I was working with larger companies and understanding what was most important to them.
See, if you still have the list, you can bring them up here. No, I'm just
Okay, you never know.
Well,
I'll give it trade secrets, but yeah.
not unlike our conversation with Dawn and the USPS. I mean, the city of Port St. Lucie really has been innovative and aggressive in getting out there and getting engaged in economic development, recruitment of business, helping small business. I love to tell the story that when I first became involved with the program here at Indian River State College, one of the first things I heard about, somebody said, "Oh, Tom, you probably ought to go to this." The department, the building department at the city of Port St. Lucie is holding a How to Start a Small Business seminar. And I was so impressed that a building department was kind of, engaged in that kind of seminar. So I went to the seminar, and again, just so impressive what your building department was doing in trying to help people understand how to start a small business. Yeah. So I've always been impressed with what the city of Port St. Lucie is doing in terms of small business recruitment and assistance. So again, I think you're a piece of that puzzle.
Correct.
So what department are you situated in within the city of Port St. Lucie?
So my department is the city manager's office. So I report to Russ Blackburn, our city manager. But physically, I'm in Building B in the building department in the business tax division, since most of my customers would be dealing with the development departments, planning and zoning, building, as well as public works and utility services.
So talk about this business navigator position. Now, again, it's become a little more popular in the last number of years for cities and counties, municipalities to have what they call a navigator to kind of help people walk through the processes. But kind of tell us, what you're doing on a daily basis to assist the small business community.
Sure. So the business navigator position is kind of twofold. Part of it is economic development. So I'm working with companies that are either in Port St. Lucie or looking to move to Port St. Lucie, identify properties that they could either purchase or lease, identify programs such as the SBDC and others who can advise them on how to do business. And then also, if they are eligible for any type of incentives, then I coordinate with the St. Lucie EDC to put together an incentive package to present to the city council. The other part is equate as a permit concierge, where I'm working with people that are going through the development process. So it's either the engineer that's going through the process or the owner or the property owner, and explaining what it entails when they're going through the planning and zoning department with site plan review, when they're going through the compliance review with all three departments, planning and zoning, public works, and utilities. And then also, once they're submitting applications to the building department for permits, where things stand with plan review, where they stand with inspections, to try to push them through the process.
And again, I guess a common issue that you hear an awful lot about, again, you never know just how serious the problem is that people encounter. But, what you normally hear about is wait times for permits and hurdles in getting permits and expanding locations. I mean, how serious is the problem out there? I mean, do you really, are there really some horror stories out there from people that can't get what they need to get to expand the business?
Well, I think what has to be understood by the business community is each city is different. So you have to understand what the process is when you come to Port St. Lucie, which, again, I could help, educate and familiarize you with how we do development. A lot of times it's not that big of an issue. It really boils down to, communications. And you have three parties that you're communicating with. You're communicating with the departments or the staff that are doing the plan review or doing the inspections. You're dealing with the owner or the property owner of the, and then you're dealing with their professionals that they've hired, the engineers, the architects, the general contractors, as well as the subs. And so it's making certain that everyone's kind of on the same page. I mean, my customer is both the professionals that are hired as well the owner. but the department's customers are really the professionals that are hired. So you may own the business, but the building department's dealing with the general contractor. You may own the business, but planning and zoning is dealing with the engineer or architect. So,
that makes sense, sure.
Yeah. So you just try to make certain that everyone's kind of on the same page. And
well, and again, a city certainly, especially like a city of, well, I would think any city, you want to be, open to new businesses. You want to be thought of as being a convenient and easy place to do business. So it's not. The cities aren't attempting to be difficult to deal with. Like you said, it's really, probably a communications issue or something that's really causing the problem that many talk about when they're trying to get through the permitting process.
Well, I think what you have to keep in mind is you want to have constant dialogue, meaning that the staff, they are doing a function. They are reviewing plans. They're providing comments. They're doing inspections, providing comments. When they turn it over to the company, they're waiting for the company to respond, and they're on to the next project because they have a lot of paperwork and work to process. So it's good to check in, understand where you are in the process. If you can't get the answer, you definitely can give me a call to help identify. But we've made a lot of it transparent on the city's website as well, where we've put the commercial permit tracker so people can actually see where they are in the process with planning, with public works.
That's a great idea.
So you can see yourself.
And again, a big part of this issue really, is workload too. It's only 5 days in a work week, 8 hours in a day. Right?
Correct.
If there's a lot going on in your city, like there is in the city of Port St. Lucie, it's just natural to be a little slower. Is that, and I hate to use the word slower, but is that, it just takes more time to respond. Is that a fair statement about what happens in a busy situation?
I don't know. When I speak with the staff and look at the actual commercial permit tracker, the building department also has their Panda system where you can also track the status of permits. It doesn't appear that it takes a long time for them to provide the comments. It's just sometimes people aren't clear on what the response is. I sometimes have to understand what the staff's interpretation of the code is to better convey it. For example, I had a restaurant that is they're in the process. They finished the site plan. They've submitted their detailed construction plans, and there was an issue with the dumpster enclosure. And from the engineer's perspective, he interpreted the staff's comments that they were actually looking within the dumpster enclosure itself and trying to say what size dumpsters the restaurant should have. But the staff is saying, well, no, because of the way you've configured the front gate of the dumpster enclosure, now it's not meeting the code. It's wide enough, but you've made it off center. So now it's small things like that, and it doesn't take a lot for them to redo a drawing and resubmit. But it's just helping them understand.
Well, but again, you guys at the City of Port St. Lucie, being innovative and aggressive as you are, you've actually brought in technology to help people track this process and stay on top of it. Is that commonly used in the municipality space, or is it are you kind of leading the way with information with the technology like that? Or
well, one of the things I think it's great is that this is all city software. The city staff built the software with the IT department, so it's customized specific to what we need. Versus you can go and buy very expensive software, but then if you change one thing, it spikes the cost, and you're back and forth with the software company. Whereas when it's in house, when you see things that need to be modified, you can work with IT and make the corrections. So I think they've done a great job in putting together these programs.
And kind of back to the whole workload issue. Are things as busy as we perceive them to be at the City of Port St. Lucie? Is it? Are things? We hear great things about the economy, great things about the building industry, the retail sector. We certainly, focused on the manufacturing sector. What are you seeing out there as a person who's really kind of the point person for the city's economic development efforts?
Yeah, it's very active. Speaking with our building official, I think this month we're now at 4,000 permits that have been issued within just a month's time, and
wow,
they're really cranking it out. And they even do online permitting now for residential. So, a contractor can go online, and it can be issued online at 3:00 in the morning instead of having to go to the department. So they're using technology to the benefit and making business easier.
Right. What are you seeing out there, Elijah? I mean, again, you're in multiple meetings that are in where we're talking about economic development and things going on. What are some of the challenges out there facing the small business community right now?
I think part of it is just access to available sites. We have a lot of land, but the buildings that we have are now at a point where they're getting leased or getting purchased, and people are having a challenge citing locations. We have great opportunities like in Southern Grove in Tradition, where we have 1,200 acres of property that over time the city will hope to develop, but again, it has to be developed before you can lease a purchase. But I think other than that, it's really just the normal things that small businesses have to grapple with, access to capital, how to figure out now how to market, because things are so different with social media and different ways to communicate versus to tried and true marketing that businesses may have been.
Well, again, and that's kind of where I want to bring, the two of you together now, Don and Elijah. I mean, Don, same kind of question for you. I mean, what do you hear out there when small businesses come to the seminars and you talk about some programs that you've got? What are you hearing out there from small business? What are some of those challenges? Is marketing their biggest challenge, you think? Of course, that's probably what they're talking to you about.
Yeah. I mean, that's more what I get is just the challenges that they have on marketing and how to go about doing it. Because, I mean, as a small business, it can be scary if people start talking to you. If you're going to do a direct mail, you have to have names, you have to have addresses, and, they start asking the questions, how do I do that? And, of course, I talk to them about EDDM and how easy it is, especially when you're talking like the restaurants and, those smaller, more community-based businesses that are focusing more on who's around them as opposed to maybe necessarily specific kinds of demographics or, any type of specific customer. They're just more general.
And Elijah, talk about leadership at the at City of Port St. Lucie. Again, Mayor Orvac, obviously, again, forward thinker, visionary, got great plans for the city of Port St. Lucie. Russ Blackburn, again, very deliberate, vision and mission for the city of Port St. Lucie too. There's an understanding of small business and what's happening in that space within the kind of the leadership. Is this a conversation that you guys have at the city of Port St. Lucie? I'm assuming it may be what had driven your whole position.
Yes, I think the mayor, the council, as well as the city manager, understand the importance of the business community and specifically small businesses to Port St. Lucie. Actually, when the city manager was hired, that was again one of his goals was to create the business navigator position, so that the businesses had a point of contact when they ran into issues, and he wanted to create a direct connection. So he thought it'd be better to place it within his office. So when there are issues, they can be addressed immediately versus having to go up a chain of command. But I think one of the unique things with the mayor is, he's walked in the staff shoes. He was a planner, he was a CRA director, he was a city manager, and now mayor. So he understands both sides, of the conversation, which I think is important.
Same question for you, Don. I mean, what about the leadership at the USPS? I mean, how do they view small business in the scheme of things at the USPS? I mean, do we still recognize small business, or are we looking at the Amazons and the those kind of businesses as the way this thing's going? How are we looking at mom and pops nowadays?
I'll be honest. I think most of their focus is on the smaller businesses. Most of the advertising that you see that's done on a national level is about our priority. They have the Priority You campaign going now, and focusing on, because a lot of them are going the online retailers. That's a huge opportunity. And of course, every door direct mail again, they're kind of both universal, especially with the priority mailing that can apply to the small businesses as well as just everyday consumers, residences, whomever.
Right. And the Every Door Direct is a national program, not just regional or state. It's a national program.
It is a national program.
I got a question for both of you. Okay, Elijah, you mentioned Southern Groves. Huge piece of property, but undeveloped now.
Correct.
Okay, Postal Service comes in. How do you guys decide addresses and stuff like that on this plat of land?
Yeah, we don't create addresses anymore. That kind of after 9/11, They realized the need to have that information kind of controlled by the municipalities.
Okay.
So actually, when the cities create new streets, roads, if there's a new development, whatnot, it's actually the city or county municipality that makes the decision as to what the addressing is going to be, and then they filter it back to us.
And to that point, I mean, that function is within the building department. So in order to pull a permit, it requires an address. And the way that the building department, does its permitting, each part of a permit requires an address. So if you have a dumpster enclosure, technically they won't deliver mail there, but what they want to do is be able to identify if there are issues, what's that permit number, who was the contractor, et cetera. And by addressing, all the parts of a site plan, then that's how they do that. But that's functions handled by building.
And again, I know, Elijah, that we've worked together on a number of trainings, but you guys are probably one of the more innovative municipalities in really putting together and providing trainings. Talk a little bit about that program that you guys have going on. I know that you've done tax seminars, and we've done some cybersecurity seminars with you. Talk a little bit about your whole training program.
Sure. Well, the Business Tax Division is the division that's hosted the business seminars. I think they look to do like 10 per year, and it's a value added to the businesses in the city of Port St. Lucie. But the building department also does what they call stakeholder meetings. And so for the various trades in the building profession, whether it's plumbers, general contractors, electricians, they have stakeholder meetings. And basically they want to know, how they're doing, what can they do to improve, and just kind of leave it open, for the contractors and different trades groups to provide input.
Right. And you actually have a series of those trainings. I mean, you're doing, like you said, 10 of those a year.
Correct.
How does one kind of get that calendar of events?
So you could go to the City of Port St. Lucie's website, which is cityofpsl.com, and under the Business Tax Division, they would have a list of the upcoming workshops that you can register to be a part of. They alternate. Some are held in the afternoon, or some are held in the morning, but it's maybe an hour and a half at most. But it's a good use of the time. And again, those are held in Building B in the building department.
Okay. And again, as we kind of get close to the close here, Elijah, kind of again, just you are there really as the point person, so you encourage people looking to expand, grow, locate, to contact you first. Are you kind of where somebody would begin if they came to the city of Port St. Lucie and said, this is where I want to open the business? Are you kind of the starting point?
Yeah. And then what I would do is coordinate with the different departments that they may have a question about. I think one thing is very important for small businesses to keep in mind before you purchase a property, before you sign a lease, please check with the city that the use is allowed, because we've had situations where unfortunately someone may have gotten into a property, not understood what our zoning was, to find out it was a prohibited use or that it required council approval, and that costs time and costs money. So it's better to ask and save money versus spend money and ask afterwards and have the money at risk. Again,
that is great advice. I mean, and so many people might just swing by, see a vacancy, and think, well, I can locate my my type of business there, and that's
right.
So you've really got to make sure that what you're going to do fits. And again, in Port St. Lucie, with so many residents, I mean, home-based businesses is an issue in Port St. Lucie.
Correct.
And that's I think that was kind of the whole reason why the building department kind of started that How to Start Your Business seminar, was to really deal with that home-based business, because you can't run a commercial operation out of your home in certain circumstances. Is that correct? I mean,
that's correct. So really, your home-based business is mainly your office, and you're going out to provide the service, but really not for customers to come to the home. But
and even parking commercial vehicles in a residential neighborhood is somewhat of an issue too. That becomes an issue for people.
Right, and especially if you're in a development or gated community, sometimes that also comes up. So, again, it's kind of good to understand those issues and help, navigate them.
Okay. How does one find you down at the city of Port St. Lucie, Elijah? How do they get in touch with you?
Sure. So my direct line is 772-873-6374. Again, I'm in Building B, right in the Business Tax Division section. So if you're in the area, you can drop by and say hi.
Okay. So you're right next to City Hall on PSL Boulevard.
That's correct. Yes.
You're in the been to your office. You're in the B building, you said?
B building.
Yep.
Correct.
Okay.
Where
Nice.
the building department is.
All right, and then I guess in closing, too, just a final word, Don. Give us, again, tell us, you are there to help small businesses market their business. I mean, it's a powerful program. So kind of give us your last word on what you can offer a small business. They need to come see you or call you. I would think.
Yeah, kind of taking off his advice to the small businesses. If you're looking to do, an every door direct mail to help market your business, work with your local office. We're here to help. Part of what I talk about when I do my workshops with customers there is, you want to make sure that you're targeting the right areas at the right time of year. With as seasonal as we are, if we're not going to be successful if they're not successful
Right.
in their mailing, and we want them to be successful because they're obviously not going to come back and use it again if they're not. So, as an example, don't target Hutchinson Island in the middle of summertime when nobody lives there.
Right, and you and you would have that kind of data. I mean, you would understand that
Exactly.
and you would understand where the population is, where we're delivering the largest bulk of mail. I mean, you got that kind of information that you could share.
And we encourage them to come talk to us, share a little bit with us exactly what it is that they're looking for in their demographics, because if I don't know directly, I assure you my carriers do, because they are out there delivering to it every single day. So, what I don't know, I can find out for them. Because, again, if your marketing campaign isn't successful, then we failed you. So,
Right.
we need you to be successful in what you do, and we're
Okay.
here to help.
And again, how does one get in touch with you, Don?
Well, you can always, not always find me if I'm at a meeting or something, but...
Or if you're on the radio or something like
if I'm on
that.
the radio or something, yeah. My office is at 5000 West Midway Road here in Fort Pierce, or they can call me at 772-460-0841, and they can schedule an appointment to see me. I can do a one-on-one with them. Of course, I've got the workshops that are coming up, so
Okay.
thank you for bringing them up, and thank you
Yep.
to the SBDC for giving me a platform to communicate
Well,
that to the small businesses.
Again, thank you both for what you're doing to provide support and assistance to the small business community. So with that, we'll bring to close another episode and segment here of Startup Talk on WPSL and WSTU. You can always get more information on this and all the resource and assistance programs through the Dan K. Richardson Entrepreneurship Development Institute at that www.irscbiz.com. With that, we'll talk to you next week on Startup Talk.
Wow, our first scratch and sniff startup talk, huh? Very cool.
That's right.
This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, WSTU, Stuart, Florida.